Congratulations, you are getting married! As a makeup artist, I've had the privilege of working with many brides, and I've also been part of a few bridesmaid teams myself. And these are some of the things that I've noticed with bridesmaids before even the wedding takes place and during the wedding, on the day of the wedding. And this is why you must really be picky with who you choose as your bridesmaid. I know that it feels like, oh, it's an obvious, it's a given. I know exactly who is going to be part of my bridal team, but you have to really be selective with who you pick as your bridal team, because these are the people who can either make or break your special day. You're obviously new here because this channel is still growing, but my name is Tari, that is short for Tariro, but you can call me the Muse. I'm guessing this is your first wedding and you probably don't know what to expect. So you're just thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, it's going to be a breeze. Oh, I'm not going to stress about those things, but you should stress about those things. Otherwise, those things are going to stress you on your wedding day. Usually, when you're picking your bridal team, you're thinking maybe I'm just going to pick my friends and it's going to be easy and everyone's just going to understand. But if you come from an African culture or a Zimbabwean culture like me, then you know most likely you might be forced to add your relatives as part of your bridal team, even the ones that you don't get along with. That's just politics. Unfortunately, that's something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. As much as you might just want your friends who you've built relationships with that understand you better to be part of your bridal team, you might end up having to choose some of your relatives. And you're lucky if you have sisters. I'm the only girl, so I do have cousins that I'm really close to, so that's lucky. If you don't, then that's something that you really have to think about. For the sake of politics, you might have to choose your relatives. So just pick people that you know are not going to cause you a lot of issues, because with weddings it's very stressful. You don't want anyone who's going to add on to the stress, because the whole point of having bridesmaids, I feel like, it's to lessen the tension, to lessen your headaches, to lessen the stress, which leads me to point number 2. Behavior assessment is very important when you're picking your bridesmaids. You might have your friends who you know are very nice people, very nice individuals, but how well do they work in a team? Because it's going to be teamwork, a lot of teamwork with picking out things and all of that. So how well will these individuals merge when they come together? Will they be a team, or will you have to be in the middle of breaking off fights a lot of the times? So you have to really be honest with yourself, because you know those people. Usually if they are your friends, if they are your sisters, your cousins, you know how they deal with situations, and you do not want anyone who will demoralize the rest of the team, anyone who will bully the rest of the team and all of that. So behavior assessment is very important. Who is going to show up and take on which role in that team to help you with your big day? So be very selective and check behavior. Are they going to be part of the team, or are they going to be part of your headache? And if you know that your friend, your sister, or whoever you're going to pick for your team does not handle pressure well, why are they your best girl? Why are they your best girl? You're going to end up answering all the calls. What usually happens on the morning of the wedding is there are going to be a lot of people calling you for a lot of things, last minute things. Oh, the photographer is going to be calling you, the videographer, the makeup artist, etc. So you need someone who is able to handle all those conversations, someone who's on top of their game from even before the wedding, someone who's going to know, okay, someone you can delegate to and be like, okay, this is the makeup artist, you can be in contact with them, so that you give them locations, etc. Someone who's going to be hands on with logistics. If you have a wedding planner, then great, but there's still going to be things where you need someone from your team basically to help you with, and that's going to be your bridesmaid. So if you don't or if you're not really aware of their strengths and weaknesses, that's going to be very hard. Imagine you're going to be depending on someone and then they do not show up in the way that you want them to on the day. because you're not really sure of their strengths and their weaknesses. That's something that you really need to know. You need to know how they're going to behave, not just with other bridesmaids, but also with service providers if they are going to have a very vital role on your bridal team. This is the biggest one. You can forget about the first two points that I made. You can forget about those first 2 points. The people that you're picking, do they have any obligation towards you? Pick people who feel an obligation towards you, people who care about you above all else, not people who just want to look pretty on your day. People who actually care about your mental well-being. I've seen a lot of brides about to cry, not because of service providers, but because of their bridesmaids that are giving them absolute hell. So you have to pick people who have an obligation towards you, people who care about you, people who already show up for you outside of a wedding setting. Those are the people that are going to show up for you in that way on your actual wedding day. So I know that you might be like, oh, I want girls who have a certain physique. That's an actual thing, by the way. People are like, oh, I don't want people who look so and so. I want a certain aesthetic. Aesthetic is not going to serve you on your wedding day. Pick people who have obligation towards you, people who truly care about you, who care about your mental being, who care about lessening the burden on your wedding day, not just aesthetics. So this is one of the biggest points that you actually have to pay attention to. Another thing that you have to be mindful of when you're picking your bridesmaids is the finance side of things. I don't know how it's done everywhere else, but here in Zimbabwe, bridesmaids usually foot their own bills when it comes to what they're going to wear, the makeup and the hair. So finances is a major one when it comes to picking your bridesmaids. If you know that you need, maybe your sister was still in high school or college or etc, who doesn't have an actual job, then get ready to incur extra bills, unfortunately, trying to foot their hair, their makeup, their nails, and the dresses, the shoes, and any extra items that they may need. I know you're experiencing a lot of pressure from your relatives, and they're like, oh, your aunt's daughter, it would be perfect for the bridal team, and what, and now it's time to talk finances, and now it's just like, well, I thought you were going to foot the bill. I've seen brides who've ended up using more money than they intended to in the first place because that talk about money wasn't really settled beforehand. So you really need to think about the finances. Is the person going to be able to help you on your wedding day? Not help you in the sense of footing like your venue, etc. No. They are going to be your bridesmaids. Do you need them to buy their own dresses? Do you need them to find a tailor for their own dresses? Are they going to be able to do that? And it's okay if they're not able to do that. That should not break relationships, but I've seen it break a lot of relationships. If someone approaches you to be their bridesmaids and you're like, genuinely, my friend, I am not currently in that financial position, I am unable to foot that bill, I'm not there right now, you're not even invited to the wedding. You're not invited to the wedding. There was the year that I had to be a bridesmaid twice. Yeah, I had to be a bridesmaid twice. And then another friend came and they're like, oh, Tari, I want you to be part of my team. I was like, friend, I have spent way too much. I didn't tell them in those words, but I'd really genuinely spent a lot of money on weddings that year. Not even my wedding, okay? And I was just like, oh my, I really would have wanted to, but I was not there at that time. But she obviously didn't understand, and that was the last time she ever talked to me. So that is something that you have to understand, brides. You have to understand when your friend is not in the financial position. This is why you need to think about this prior to even approaching anyone and asking them to be your bridesmaids. Are they going to be able to foot their own bill? Are you going to be pitching in? What are you going to be pitching in? What can you pitch in? Because at the end of the day, this is your day and those people are coming for you and they're going to be serving you in many other ways. If you are in a financial position to help them foot some of the bill, maybe get their nails done, get their makeup done, that might be something that would make the process much easier. There is going to be a lot of tension when you're dealing with bridesmaids because there's different people who are coming from different walks of life, possibly, and you want to bring them together and do this one beautiful thing, and everyone's got their own sense of style, they have ideas, they have I'll give you a tip for free on the house, okay? I'll give you a tip. As the bride, sometimes it's very important to put your foot down and be like, this is the dress that is going to be worn. It doesn't have to be ugly, okay? It doesn't have to be an ugly dress. I don't know why a lot of brides are so scared of being outshined by their bridesmaids, but that's impossible. You're wearing a beautiful, I'm imagining, a beautiful white dress. Who's going to outshine you in a white dress, unless everyone is going to be wearing white? But anyway, the point is sometimes you have to put your foot down, limit the options of the dresses, limit the options of the hairstyles, because if you have too many options, there's like way too much time that is spent deliberating on what everyone is going to be wearing, and you don't want the stress. I've seen it happen. Trust me, you do not want the stress. Don't give them too much options. If you give anyone too much options, you're going to just cause yourself a lot of stress. That one is more of a bonus point. I think I've covered most of the bases when it comes to picking your bridesmaid. And congratulations, you are getting married! And that is such an exciting thing that is happening for you. Tell me, when is the wedding? You can comment down below. Tell me when the wedding is. Which colors are you going to be using? And who's going to be your makeup artist? That's if you're in Zimbabwe. Yeah, that is also exciting. Otherwise, do not stress about a lot of things. Weddings are such a beautiful thing, but always remember that it's one day, so don't stress too much. As much as you want it to be perfect, don't let it be your whole life, because the whole point of the wedding is actually the marriage. So don't lose sight of what actually matters. If you have any more tips about choosing bridesmaids, you can go ahead and go in the comment section down below and share with the rest of the girlies. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like if this is your type of content, because we have been consistent over here. As much as the channel is still growing, there are lots of things to be learned. There are lots of gems over here. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.